shared campus. A couple of things, there are men's restrooms back here where Caitlin, will you wave? Right back there. And the other restroom is through those doors and to the right. Would invite you to turn off your cell phones, silence them at least. If you need to take pictures or notes, go ahead, just don't let them go off, because if they do, it's $25 to wake up Sonoma. So there you go. That's right. We have this taped down, but they don't know that I moved. So I'm Reverend Curran Reichert. I'm the pastor of this congregation, and it is a privilege to be with you this morning. Thank you for coming out on short notice. Let's have a round of applause that you got out of bed. So after the 2017 fires, I became really interested in understanding how our bodies deal with recurrent trauma and how we process ongoing trauma. Well, it turns out that was a really good thing to learn about, because there were years ahead of us that were filled with trauma. So my commitment to you this morning is to guide you through just a couple of grounding opportunities, both at the beginning of our time together and at the end. Maybe you'll remember them, maybe you won't, it doesn't matter. But the most important thing for you to know right now is that you are safe. You are surrounded by people who care, and there is enough love to make it through this very difficult time. Amen?
Amen.
All right, so put your feet flat on the ground. What we're going to do right now is just feel our bodies in the chair, right? You're just going to let your head float up like you have a little string attached to it. It's a balloon. And drop your shoulders. And I know you're thinking, I don't need to drop my shoulders, but guess what? When we do this, bring them up and drop them back down. See how much further they go. Do it again. Up they go. And exhale. And one more time. You probably need to do this like 600 times a day right now. Right? So when I gather with people over the last 10 days, really, my first question to them is, how is it with your soul? How is it with your soul? So I just want you to take your hand and put it right here in your heart solar plexus. This is your home. This is your home. This is how you can always return to yourself, right? Give yourself a little pressure. It's like a little heart hug. And just close your eyes for a moment if you're comfortable doing so, and ask yourself the question, how is it? How is it with me this morning? How is it with me? Am I anxious? Am I fired up? Am I exhausted? Maybe I'm all of those things. Right? Take another good deep breath. And exhale. Another good deep breath. And exhale. And as you open your eyes, putting your feet flat on the ground, turn to your neighbor, hopefully not a person you came with. Introduce yourselves. And I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to tell each other how you are. Just tell each other how you are. As we go. So here we go. Your one-word feeling.
Friendly.
All y'all. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Polis. All right. Well, there you go. Learn something new every day. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Guess what? I'm coming back. So if you didn't get it the first time, you get to have it again. Here we go. Yeah. It's all this, right? Yeah.
Still grateful.
Yeah. Still grateful. He's still grateful. He's going to be grateful if I come back a third time. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So this is our context, right? And this is why Lisa and Wake Up Sonoma have called us together today, because we have all these things going on, right? And it's so much better to do them in community. It's so much better to know that we're not alone, right? So I'm going to teach you one more thing, and then we're going to get started. Feet on the ground. This is called 4 square breathing. We're going to go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. So the neurobiology here is that if we do this 5 times in a minute, we will open up our vagus nerve, right? So this is the quickest way to ground yourself in any situation. 4, 4, 4. That's all you have to remember, okay? You can leave your eyes open or keep them closed. We're going to take a big deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let that hand return home to your heart. Yeah. Good job. All right.
Thank you so much, Curran. That's a really good way to start any meeting, I think. So, welcome everyone. My name is Lisa Stormont. I'm the president of Wake Up Sonoma. The rest of our board couldn't be here today other than Elizabeth Norris, who's back in the back there. And I also just want to say that I'm just ever so grateful that you guys all did decide to come today. Since Election Day, I think I have felt all of the things that I just heard all of you say, and more, things that we probably don't really want to say. And the thing that kept going through my mind was, well, what can Wake Up Sonoma do? We are here to work within the community, to build community. How can we do that right now? It's hard to not feel a little bit hopeless. And we just have to fight against that feeling. So we got together with Curran and we looked at each other and we said, let's have a town hall. We need to put it to the community and figure out what we're going to do. So here you are. We don't expect that this session will address everything that needs to happen. Think of today as just a very beginning. And the fact that you are here says that you are willing to take action. I assume that you're here because you want to roll your sleeves up and you want to do something for the community. The first thing I want you guys to do is to just also take just 3 seconds to just tell yourself, this is not going to be my last action. Coming today is not my last action. It is the beginning of my action. So think about that. So the purpose and goals of this meeting, there's 3 purposes of this meeting. The first is to strengthen community spirit for what we have coming ahead. We have a train coming at us, and we need to be strong for that. remind each other that everyone in this room is caring, and we are a community of people who are pro-social justice, who want democracy to be strong, and that we are a community who fights for justice. Remember that we do have power, individually as well as a community, and we have agency in the same way. We can use that in our quest to create and keep a more just world. So, I mean, look around. We have, a pretty amazing group of people here. The second is to share community concerns and resources, which, in a community like ours, it's small. We have a lot of resources, but they tend to not be quite visible at times. So we need to get better at sharing. So today we want to share our thoughts on how to support and partner with our most vulnerable community members, hear and learn from the organizations that are going to be here today, and we have Rebecca Hermosillo here, who is our new county board supervisor-elect. And we need to listen to our leaders now. We need our leaders to really lead. We need to find and be partners in our community. Our mission, part of our mission, is to inform and educate. Therefore, we've asked these nonprofits to be here. Oh, I hear somebody, $25? So we've asked these nonprofits and community organizations to come and begin a conversation with this room as to what can we do quickly in order to allay our angst and put our feelings to good work. We've had to create these resources in this town hall in a week. So we thought about doing this a week ago. So the resources that I sent you guys in your email this morning and also earlier in the week have been updated, and they will continue to be updated. So I encourage you to go to, there's QR codes around the room. There's one there, there's one in the back, there's one on the side. That'll take you right to Project 2025 website page that we will continue to keep updated with resources. And we also have, the third subject, or the goal, is to strengthen Wake Up Sonoma's ability to respond. So in order for us to continue on our mission, we realize we have to grow, and we have to grow very quickly. We need to expand our work for the advocacy of human and civil rights. And just, a reminder, this is not just the work of Wake Up Sonoma. This is a collective work of everyone here and beyond. So this is all of our work, and we need your help. And later I'm going to tell you how you can do that. You, as a community, are a strength and personally my inspiration, and we hope to have a significant positive impact on our community with your help. So now I'd like to call up Michelle, who is the co-founder of G3 Sonoma, and she's an amazing facilitator, and she's helping us today. Thank you. That's what we do. A huge round of applause for Lisa. It's about Lisa.
A lot of accomplishments that have been made in the last handful of months would not have been made without you. So hello, my name is Michelle Dale Jernigan. Thank you for that nice introduction. I'm the co-founder of G3 Sonoma. G3 stands for gather, which is what we're doing, grow, which is what we are also doing and will continue to do, and then go out into the community, go out into the world, and hopefully create a ripple effect of positivity, of hope, of strength, and of community. And through that community, we collaborate, we lock arms, and hopefully we will lock arms with the speakers and panelists you'll hear from today. and continue to build that collaboration and continue to build a strong community that we obviously are already a huge part of. So similar to Curran, I would just like you to thank yourself for being here. We thank you for being here. Time is probably one of our most important commodities at this point. And we don't take it lightly that you have decided to spend your time in this room here today with us. So thank you, thank yourself, and thank the person next to you. So I would now like to invite Rebecca to come up and address the group. Rebecca, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I know you are an amazing human being. We are very fortunate to have you here and to have you representing our county. Thank you for all you have done, all you do, and all you will continue to do to help us.
First, good morning. Thanks for being here. Thanks for gathering this meeting. I think we should first start with acknowledging that the election is not what anyone anticipated, was prepared for, and what we wanted. So we're here now. Wednesday morning, I was able to talk to Congressman Thompson, and I wanted to share kind of what he shared with me that helped give me a little pause and a little context and helped kind of navigate the rest of that week. So in summary, what he said is, I've been on this side of bad elections more than I've been on the good side of elections. We have the filibuster. That wasn't done away with, so that is helpful. On the Senate side, it's probably going to be a challenge to get 60 votes to move anything forward. On the House side, there is such a divide amongst the colleagues across the aisle that it's going to be hard for them to get organized to move anything forward. Now is the time that our community needs us the most, and we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. So that's what helped me navigate Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and here we are. So I am very excited to see such a broad base of support here today, and I'd like to share, I'm going to waffle between Congressman Thompson hat and Supervisor-elect hat. And so what Congressman Thompson has done historically when Trump was first in office is we were a resource to community. If ICE came to the community, stakeholders would contact us, we would locate the person that was being detained, contact rapid response, and then help get legal defense to them, and then support the family through that process. We will be doing the same. Congressman Thompson will be doing the same in this new administration, but we're going to do a little bit more prep work. It's important to have meetings like this and continue to have meetings where we are informing constituents how to be as safe as possible and to create networks of support. So what I imagine we will have to do is, through Congressman Thompson's office, whenever you need help, you fill out a form. It's called an advocacy authorization form. There's a specific form for ICE. So if you know someone that is here that is undocumented, please contact our office and get that form and have them fill it out so that family members have them available if and when they do get detained. That will help us find where they're at, because CBP's method is to get picked up and quickly move you out of state, sign a form that will permanently bar you from coming back into the country, and that's what we don't want to happen. And so making sure that we are ensuring that folks are filling out the AA form for ICE proactively, that you contact Congressman Thompson's office if and when that does happen. We always monitor voicemails and emails after hours for emergencies. And then there's been conversations by schools, youth organizations on how to best protect kids if the parents are detained. And so making sure that you're filling out, that families are filling out the proper, what is it? Guardianship form? Thank you. I was forgetting already. So making sure that there is a safety net so that kids can be picked up from school and or Boys and Girls Club, wherever they're at. And lastly, at the county level, I met with county council this week and I asked them, because of the Crown Act, I can't talk to the other supervisors but one. And so I worked through county council and had them start working on activating the funding to the Rapid Response Network and the nonprofits that do serve our most vulnerable populations, and expanding services so that there's not going to be enough legal defense. There already isn't. And so making sure that we're helping train people to defend themselves in pro per if and when they do get picked up, so that they are not whisked out of the country for their safety. And I think I'm running out of time, so I will be here if there's additional. Oh, questions? Okay, perfect. And I'll be here afterwards too for additional questions. So we are working on standing up the policies and procedures that will help keep our community as safe as possible. I will continue to go to events like these. There are stakeholder meetings being convened by immigration partners, and I'm happy to support their work. So, any questions? Yes?
Can the ice form blank ones be printed out from Congressman Thompson's website?
Yes. You can see me afterwards, and then I'll get your contact information and tell me how many you need, and I'll bring them back. Yes?
What can we do to protect our sanctuary cities?
What can we do to protect our sanctuary cities? California is going to be a target. Because Sonoma County wasn't designated a sanctuary city, we may get a little reprieve. I am hearing that one of the ICE contracting firms has put a recruitment for jobs in Sonoma County. So we have to go around the back end and make sure that we're protecting people. We can't tell a business to not come to the county, and so we need to create safety nets. That means knowing your rights, knowing when you have to open the door. If somebody comes with a warrant, make sure it's signed properly and signed by a judge and filled out correctly, because you don't have to open the door unless it's filled out correctly. So making sure that we are sharing as much information with constituents. Yes. Yes.
To help our families that we may personally know understand what the ICE form in advance does and what they should be looking at, how they should be getting information, how do we relay what you're telling us to them so they can understand?
The question is, how do we get constituents to fill out the ICE AA form and know what that means? Do you mean for constituents that are monolingual, or just help spread the word?
I'd say there's families that have some English speakers and some that aren't, and how to maybe talk with the English speakers to help them help their family understand where to get the resources, why it matters to do the thing you're talking about ahead of time. It's a lot of great information you're giving us, but I just want a little bit more understanding.
We can do two different things. Like I said, this is first of many. Congressman Thompson convened a meeting with his Latino Advisory Council Friday morning. There will be more. There will be guidance on his social media coming. Every one of his district offices has someone that is Spanish speaking. I can share with you the Santa Rosa number afterwards. It's 542-7182, but we have a Napa office and a Woodland office. So if people are monolingual, they can go there. They can call and ask for me or Sergio. I'll be with the congressman through the end of November, and then it's going to be Sergio, and we can help walk people through how to fill that out and what it is for. So,
And if I may, I'm Leonardo Lobato. I am the Executive Director of Lobato. Thank you. Just very, very quickly, I'm Leonardo Lobato. I'm the Executive Director of La Luz. So to multiply the efforts, La Luz is willing also in whatever it can help. 100% of our staff is multicultural and multilingual, bilingual, sorry. So we can address specifically that question here. We are starting, and I'll address that when I speak. Thank you.
great. Thank you. Yes.
And just in honor of time, I want everyone to know, because we, again, respect your time and the agenda that Wake Up Sonoma has put together, we will take another 2 questions for Rebecca. We will start the panel and we will take questions again, because many of these topics could potentially be addressed by the panel. We also have index cards in the back. You are you are welcome to post your questions there. We will take them with us, and in the mass email that Lisa's so good about sending out and informing us, you will get answers to not only your questions, but all of the questions posed on the index cards. Sound good? Okay, so let's go over here for one of two more questions.
Are people whose paperwork is in process at risk? Should they fill out that form?
I don't know that I can answer that right now. I don't know what we will have come 2025. There is very few instances in which USCIS will expedite petitions. And so I just don't want to have people try to work on expediting when they can't be. So I don't have an answer for you, but I think it makes sense to circle back after January. We've also been meeting with the Hispanic Caucus in DC, our ledge team, so we anticipate getting more guidance, but it's a lot of guessing right at this moment.
We're going to go right here to the gentleman.
Okay. What kind of assurances can you give the undocumented people who are filling out these forms that it won't be used for some nefarious purpose?
Yes, so it's a twofold. The form will only come to our office, and then we send it to CBP. CBP can then share that information, so we will guide people to use either a PO box or someone else's information so that the CBP cannot then go back to that primary residence. So that will be part of the guidance to make sure that we're helping people be as safe as possible. It's hard to do that. If you go to an airport now, the facial recognition, it goes to many other federal partners. That's why when people that are undocumented fly domestically, I ask them to please not use the facial recognition. There's several airports where it's still optional. You just don't trust where that information is going. Customs Border Protection, ICE.
In honor of time, we are going to
Thank
move
you.
forward. Yes, thank you. And
We would now like to invite our panelists to come take a seat in front of us. They are going to introduce themselves and answer a few pertinent questions that will hopefully give you some more information that you're here for, and then we will also continue to ask questions of them after their introductions. Yes. Anybody that was invited to sit on the panel? And they will stand when they speak, so you will be able to see them. I know there's some visual issues here. So first, I want to say thank you for being here. When we think about people that really give a damn, you're looking at them right here. I mean, we all do. The work and the representation that they are so diligently involved with on a daily basis is not lost on us, so thank you for all you do. Sir, I'm going to start with you since you already introduced yourself. Do we have... Oh, okay.
oh, never mind. Fair enough. Caitlin is next. I did not know that. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank
Hi
you.
everybody, Rebecca's a very hard act to follow. I'll do my best. I'm Caitlin Cornwall. I'm the affordability of housing in Sonoma Valley, which is a hard thing, but it turns out all of those constituents really care about that issue. So that's who we are. So we have already this interesting skill set, which is very timely right now. Where is it that the strengths in this community have agreement about what we need to do after this election? Some of those interest groups may come at these issues from very different points of view, for different reasons. But that's okay, because if we agree on desired outcomes, we can use our combined strength to push for them. We are, I would say, still feeling out where our different members are on some of these post-election issues, so stay tuned. In the interim, we have started circulating, and some of you have already seen this, a joint statement that we're trying to get a very large range of sign-ons to. It basically says this election changes a lot. There are going to be changes in our valley. We see these changes coming in 4 big areas. And we want you all to know that we, the nonprofit community, are collaborating, gathering, coordinating, strategizing, and we'll get back to you about what exactly you can do and we will do. So these 4 big areas, one is the impact on immigrants, non-citizens, themselves as people, their families, their kids, also their schools, their jobs, their employers, their customers, that whole ball of wax. There's impacts to environmental protection, including climate action. A third area is human rights, LGBTQ rights, people of color rights. Fourth area is healthcare and reproductive rights. So, as you know, it's a lot. So, look for that statement soon where Lisa has finagled a free full-page ad in the Press Democrat where we, Sonoma Valley community of nonprofits, is going to put this out. And we care about these issues. We are working together. $25. So my main message here is these impacts land differently in different parts of our community, but there is a place, Sonoma Valley Collaborative, where we have a table already set where we can talk about these issues in a really 360-degree way and find where our highest common denominator is for action, because that massed power is really important. Everyone here is acting in their own sort of lane, which is great, and we also have this lane already worked out for the kind of mainstream strength to push ahead. And that's all I'd like to say, so who do I hand it to next?
Well, I just want to say that Wake Up Sonoma is part of the collaborative that Caitlin's talking about. And around the room there are posters in the areas that Caitlin talked about. And we're going to ask you later for your questions, comments, suggestions, and then we'll pass that to the collaborative. Because we're all holding hands right now.
So Vicki is next. Vicki from Sonoma Immigration Services. Thank you so much, Vicki.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Vicki.
We have lots of questions for you.
I'm from Sonoma Immigrant Services. We are on Highway 12, and we were formed during the last administration in order to provide legal services to immigrants in the valley. I'm the only immigration attorney in Sonoma Valley, and we're not very many in the county, and there's a huge need. So I've been asked to talk about what we expect to happen. We have a lot of clues based on the last administration, based on campaign rhetoric and Project 2025 and recent hires or proposed hires to the cabinet. What we expect are changes to policy to make affirmative applications for status much more difficult and probably take a lot longer. Also, we do expect increased deportations, ICE raids, widespread ICE raids, and as Rebecca said, because California is a sanctuary state, certainly we expect to be targeted. Usually those ICE raids we would expect to come through employers, through I-9 audits, or also just going to work sites where there tend to be immigrant workers. So the other thing that I expect to happen and that we all can work on is building a better relationship with law enforcement and holding law enforcement accountable to protecting all of our residents and maintaining a relationship of trust. And we can do that by putting pressure on the sheriff and the sheriff's office to adhere to the requirements of the Truth Act and to stop communications with ICE about people in detention. So Sonoma Immigrant Services is, our response is, we're working on it. We have spent the last week meeting with all kinds of different organizations. Really what we're trying to do, as many organizations are come together and develop a comprehensive response where it's going to require everybody from all different sectors of society to come together to protect our community. We want to foster a united front where everybody feels they have a role in a place that they can stand up and protect people. The first thing we're doing are Know Your Rights presentations. We're tailoring some of those Know Your Rights presentations to different circumstances. We're starting with Know Your Rights to immigrants. There will be a Know Your Rights. The first event is December 1st at El Verano School from 1 to 5. There will be a variety of organizations coming together and tabling and offering Know Your Rights and legal consultations. That is happening through, with the leadership of the Secure Families Collaborative, which is an organization that was created by the county supervisors during the last administration to bring mostly legal service providers, but wraparound services to immigrants to really help protect and support people during the last administration. And we are revamping systems built during that time to bring everybody together and formulate a plan for this time around. The other thing that we are working on is really helping families develop a plan. It's scary to think about family members being deported and detained, but having a plan can help alleviate, or at least alleviate, I guess, a little of that stress. And that includes making a plan for what happens to children. Are children going to stay? Are they going to go with their parents? If they stay, who will take care of them? How do you get that caregiver access to medical records and school records? Also, getting kids passports if they do have to travel is another topic we've been looking at. And just really wrap around how we can support families. Also, there's a huge mental health burden that happens to families and children in particular in these situations. So we're also working with other organizations to try and figure out how to offer support for children. A big piece that I feel was lacking in the last administration was employer participation in knowing their rights and protecting their employees. I think maybe employers don't want to admit that they might be employing people who are undocumented, but there's California law that requires employers to guide their interactions with ICE and to protect their employees. And so we really want to bring employers into the collaborative group that's working to support people in the community and train them so that they can protect their employees in the workplace. And then, of course, we are providing legal defense. We expect that not only, there's a huge backlog. We have over 100-person wait list for people who are have a case in immigration court and looking for representation, and we expect that to grow. One of the things that changed from the last time around was, so we're just looking to support families however we can, and it's going to take a village, and we're trying to remember that to remember our power and not to panic, that we can get through this together.
And the conversation, and that the conversation will continue. I also want to remind you that this is being recorded, notes are being taken, and all of this will be shared. So I hope that helps, because this is a lot of information, and it's pretty heavy information. So Claudi is next. Yes, thank you. I will have you introduce yourself. Would you rather cord or no cord? Or would you like me to put it in here for you? No, you're okay. I don't know. Okay.
So many questions. That's who I am right now. You'll just have to tell me if I'm not speaking into the microphone. All right, so I'm Claudia Robbins, so a new nickname, Claudia.
We don't know what happened today.
That's okay.
Just like
It's
that.
all right. Things just happen, right? And I'm on the North Bay Rapid Response Network Steering Committee. The North Bay Rapid Response Network is a strictly volunteer network, and it was formed in 2016 in response to the first Trump administration. We have a presence in Sonoma, Napa, and Solano counties, but Sonoma is the strongest. We operate a 24-hour Spanish-English hotline for immigrants who are facing an ICE raid to call and report that raid. And then that hotline operator sends out, or dispatches, sends notice to what we call legal observers, volunteers throughout the county who will go to that ICE situation, that raid, and document what's happening, whether that is visually with notes. You're not involved in stopping anything, just documenting. And those notes, that documentation, that witnessing, can be used in court sometimes to help stop the case and prevent deportation. So, all right. So that's a very important role that we have. These hotline dispatchers then also contact legal defense teams, and a third component, what we call accompaniment, which is teams of people, groups, preferably friends, colleagues, people from church who know each other, who work to support these victims, the person who might be in detention, or their families, and also asylum seekers who are here right now. We work with the family to determine what the family needs, not what we think, what the family needs. And that might be help with rent, it might be connection to social services, it might be food, it might be childcare, it might be rides to appointments. We find out, what does the family need? Presently, we have teams in Petaluma, Santa Rosa, and Sebastopol. Our team in Sonoma has been defunct because we haven't had a strong need or a number of volunteers. These teams are working with presently people from Haiti, Guatemala, and a lot of people who are LGBTQ and who have been seeking asylum because of their persecution in their country of origin. We also collaborate with other groups to advocate, so we helped pass the Sonoma Safe City Resolution originally, and the Sonoma Valley Unified School District Safe School Resolution, which need revisiting and implementing, being sure these are happening now and people are aware of them. We've also collaborated with producing Know Your Rights workshops. We work strongly with and have in the past worked strongly with La Luz and with Sonoma Immigrant Services. Sonoma Immigrant Services was the outgrowth, as Vicki mentioned, of our movement. And so we need legal observers. We need people to volunteer for this, or if you've been a volunteer in the past, to retrain. And we need hotline operators, people who speak Spanish and who are willing to volunteer for a 3-hour segment weekly or to be scheduled. I have a sign-up sheet for legal observers, hotline, or other, if in some way you want to participate with North Bay Rapid Response Network. And these are the 2 cards which you'll see around, and we want to get these distributed. One is the red card, which you use when ICE is coming or with police to indicate your rights. These are in Spanish, English, Tagalog, Chinese, lots of languages. And the other is the yellow card, which has the phone number, right side up would help, of the Rapid Response Network, and a little bit of information on the back about rights. These are things that at the workshops Vicki mentioned and throughout the county need distribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. I appreciate it. So just another piece of information, after they all speak, we will take questions. And we will also have a roaming session where you can speak with any of them individually. So just want to give you that confidence. So let's see, who's next? I know the order, people. I was just told the order. Yeah, Leonardo. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Leonardo. I'm going wireless for you.
Thank you. Good morning to all again. Mi nombre es Leonardo Lobato y soy el director ejecutivo de La Luz. I am the Leonardo Lobato and I am the executive director of La Luz. As many, if not all of you know, La Luz Center is a nonprofit organization that is based here in Sonoma Valley that supports the most vulnerable individuals and families in our community. More than 90% of our clients are Latinos. We seek transformational positive change in our community through 5 key programs. One is basic needs, reduce the number of people with unmet basic needs in our community. The other one is increase the safety of immigrants through various programs or various services. And another one is English as a second language for adults. The fourth one is small business support to increase the earning potential of individuals and families here in Sonoma Valley. And the last one is early childhood education for children from 0 to 3 years old and their parents to prepare them to be ready for school, both the children and their parents. With all these momentous change that we are facing, and we are going to, at La Luz, we're going to redouble our efforts in all these key programs in order to support our immigrant neighbors and community members. In particular, we will support, we will be, as I mentioned earlier, the multiplier of all the efforts that are being drawn by specialists and all these services and the resources that are going to be made available for our immigrant community. And the intent is to our resources, the tools that we have at La Luz, be available to the whole community and bringing those resources to our immigrant community. Specifically, in regards to legal services, immigrant legal services, we have a program that provides opportunities and access for legal services for citizenship and other immigration relief programs. And we don't do the legal services. What we do is partner with experts, organizations in the county, as well as local. And by the way, we have a gem in Vicki, Sonoma Immigrant Services, and her team here in Sonoma Valley. It's an amazing investment. We will also provide services in regards to removal defense. All the actions that you've been hearing from Vicki and Claudia, we will support all of that. And we will also, in addition to that, refer people to other resources to support immigrants in navigating those resources and coordinate responses with other local organizations as well as county-wide organizations. All this, we will also support our immigrant community with basic needs, with their own basic needs when things have happened to them or to their families. We cannot, and I want to emphasize that we cannot do this alone, that La Luz has works with a whole host of partners in that sense. I was asked what worries me from the situation that we currently have, and what worries me is that the rhetoric, the lies, and the actions that have been announced. Part of it is to drive a wedge in our communities, in our families. It is the us against them. It is critical for all of us to avoid this division, and that we keep, as a community, together. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to suffer, regardless of their thinking of their positions. It is important that we provide service to all of them as a community. So the last thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you for standing with us. Thank you for standing for the community. Thank you for standing with the immigrant community.
And Tyler, you're up. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for being here.
I might be ready. It's still morning. Good morning. I'm Tyler Thompson. I am Vice President and co-founder of Professionals with Pride. We are Sonoma County's LGBTQ Chamber, Professionals with Pride. And our mission is to be a beacon for LGBTQ professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and allied businesses. Really so that there can be somewhere to turn when something's going wrong with workers' rights. Quick disclaimer though, that Professionals with Pride launched exactly 31 days ago. And we're having a board meeting on this exact topic on Tuesday. So bear with me. We're still building this plane in the air while flying it. So, however, we could not have asked for a better welcoming from the community. On October 16th, we had our launch event, which sold out 3 times. And we still had people at the door asking to be let in. So clearly, Sonoma County is hungry for community, unity, and a shared voice. In the wake of the election, we know that queer employees, especially trans employees, are facing the imminent loss of their rights against discriminatory hiring practices. Chambers of commerce have their power in numbers. That's at the very foundation of our organization. To ask those questions, where the heck do I go to find a contractor who's just not a jerk to trans kids? Which real estate agent is going to use their proceeds from the sale of my home to lobby against my rights to marry? Or better yet, which local employer is going to, this is a true story, waste my time after 3 interviews after I let it slip that I have a partner? We as a chamber are seeking to light that beacon for local queer professionals to turn to for this direction and understand which businesses to support. And this is where I digress, again, from our future plans, since, again, I'm meeting to discuss this on Tuesday. If you're already a member, excuse me, we are eager to hear your opinion. We'll be asking for that before we present that on December 4th. We'll be having a big party. You guys know, if you came to our last event, you know we know how to throw a party. We'll be doing one at the Flamingo in Santa Rosa. And we're not just, doing it all in Santa Rosa. In January, February, we are partnering with the Sonoma Valley Chamber in Sonoma Valley for another event. I can tell you that Wake Up Sonoma and Professionals with Pride do have a bit of a shared mission, which is to certify businesses that actively support the queer community. We need to know who to support, and I think equally important where not to spend our dollars. I was speaking with others, this might be controversial. I just think it's important to spend your dollar vote where it matters. We have power within our community to enable a thriving business economy, and that starts with visibility. And I'm looking forward to partnering with Lisa on that and Wake Up Sonoma. We also have grant-based scholarships available for those seeking to join our membership. Basically, we have a BIPOC scholarship, we have a Communities of Color initiative, as well as any queer business owner can seek an LGBT business enterprise certification from the National Chamber. So, we're not just reacting to this moment, we're laying the groundwork for a future where queer professionals in our local economy can thrive. And we can't do it alone. Please, if you are a business owner, ally, entrepreneur, we ask you to join us, especially come to our event on December 4th. That said, if you're seeking to volunteer, I recommend to volunteer with these guys. They need your help more, I think. Please. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tyler. With no further ado, Mr. Gary Saperstein.
Okay. Beautiful. Good morning. Good morning. I first have to say that I'm sitting here and really holding back tears. Listening to you talk, I mean, I guess something I've been fortunate in my life I don't have to think about, right? That my children can make a plan for what are you going to do with your children. Breaks my heart. But anyhow, as Michelle said, my name is Gary Saberstein, and I'm the founder and the owner of Out in the Vineyard, which is an LGBT tour and event company located here in Sonoma. First and foremost, I am a Sonoma Valley resident and a huge advocate, one of the advocates for our gay community here in the region. I think I can safely say in this room, as everyone else has pointed out, that we were definitely all shocked last week, 2 weeks ago now almost, and once again by the results of the election. We're all feeling and have been feeling a wide range of emotions for the past 2 weeks. And the thrill that Wake Up Sonoma has called this town meeting because it signals that it is time that we have to, as hard as it is, it's time to sort of stop reacting and move into action. There's no doubt about that. We do not have the luxury to sit back and wait. My company is all about bringing community together. It's about connection, and it's about joy. And I will never compromise that. I'm never willing to give that up. That is something that I know our gay community will never give up. We are resilient. We have faced persecution for many, many years, much of our entire lives. We've been through a pandemic, and I'm not talking about COVID. We're fighters, but we can't do it alone. Now more than ever, we are going to need our allies to stand with us during this unfortunate second administration. Over the past 2.5 years, anti-LGBTQ attacks have surged by 112% nationwide. Discrimination and violence against our community. And that percentage is likely to grow over the course of the next 4 years as people feel more emboldened. In the wake of the election and the reckoning with the terms of this administration with a hostile record against our community, and especially transgender Americans, it is imperative that there is now an opportunity to what they're doing is imperative that they are centering trans people in the conversation. I read this last night in an article that they spend nearly $215 million on network TV ads vilifying the transgender community in this election cycle, which comes down to $134 per trans person in the country. They've spent more money vilifying the trans community than ads concerning housing, immigration, and the economy combined, all in the name of creating fear of something that they know nothing about. And what does that mean to me? It means showing up when it matters. And here's what we can do. We can attend city council meetings when we need to, school board meetings, planning commission meetings. There are different ways to be an advocate. And I learned a long time ago, I'm going to be more than a minute. I've got luxury being last, right? I learned a long time ago when I was a volunteer back in my days in New York City at the gay men's health crisis, the beginning of the AIDS crisis, that there were a group of people who were very unhappy with how that organization was operating. So they broke off and started another group called ACT UP. ACT UP was an in-your-face fight, yell, scream on the streets, do anything to be heard, to help to make a difference. And I really realized at first I was taken aback by that because I thought that, oh, that's not me, I don't want to be out there like screaming like that. But I soon really learned that you need both. You need the people working quietly behind the scenes who go through the back doors to try and change policy. Well, we're going to knock on Rebecca's door for the next 4 years. But you need that just as much as you need those people who are going to be out on the streets fighting for you. So decide what you want to be, what works for you, because now is the time. And there are organizations here in Sonoma, Positive Images, that supports LGBTQ youth and LGBTQ Connection, both of them in Sonoma County, that are located in Santa Rosa, though they support LGBTQ youth. Face to Face. Face to Face is an organization that keeps people healthy from HIV. They actually also have the largest harm reduction program in Sonoma County. Last year, and get this number, last year in Sonoma County alone, they exchanged over 150,000 needles went through their door. They also hand out a free Narcan. Last year, they saved over 3,500 lives that they know about, that people told them about from the Narcan that they handed out. Those organizations could lose their funding in this next administration. We know that this is not what they care about. So now is the time also to show support for these local organizations. If they lose their funding, it's going to take private sector money to keep their doors open. At our high school, and high schools across the county, there are GSA, formerly known as the Gay Straight Alliance, which is now known as the Gender Sexual Awareness Group. They could very well be in danger of having to shut down. And I can tell you from attending some of those meetings, oh boy, they are so helpful, so vitally important to LGBTQ youth. They get to be themselves for an hour and share their stories and concerns. So if you're a parent, whether you have a gay child or straight child, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now's the time to advocate for clubs like this that exist safely in our schools. And nationally, there are also amazing organizations out there to donate, from the ACLU to the Human Rights Campaign to the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is absolutely amazing. It's a hotline for the LGBTQ community to use when they feel they are in crisis. And ever since the election, their numbers, their calls have spiked over 700%. So you can tell where that's going to go over the next 4 years. And they give you all the tools of the Trevor Project to become a crisis counselor. A friend of mine who's retired did it, and now is so happy. She's doing it 3 days a week, and she loves it, and she's making a difference. So as I said, I feel deeply saddened by the results of the election, but just as we've done for decades, we must continue to push back. We must continue to push back against injustice. We've all got a role to play in the years ahead. We've got to look out for one another and for those whose lives may be very well be under direct threat. So we have to take care of each other, figure out your strengths, and then share them with other people. Help out when you can and don't give in to the darkness. You can research, you can donate, educate, and stay informed, because I can tell you, and I think we all know this, the other side, they are not any of those. Okay? So look around you in your community. See who needs help, protection, and support, because we will never walk away. We will never let them win. And this has become my mantra. I think it was the first 4 years of that awful administration, that love always wins. Say it with me, love always wins. Thank you so much.
I'd like to introduce somebody that's special to me, who has been sort of a backbone support to Wake Up Sonoma. Rick Mordesevich has a few words to say.
Wow, I thought about Gary Saperstein. Welcome everyone. I'm Rick Mordesevich. I've moved to the Bay Area 25 years ago from Chicago, and I've owned a house in Sonoma about 10 years, and I've lived here full time now with my husband, Warren Chase, who's here in the audience. The day after the election, I think I felt like everybody in this room. I was done, and I was really sad, and I didn't really understand what happened. I was a bit confused, and I spent the day. It was a beautiful day in Sonoma. It was sunny, it was warm. I took my dog for a walk, I went for a hike, and I didn't watch the news at all. But the next day, Thursday, I got up early, I took a shower, I got in my car, I drove into San Francisco. It was a beautiful day. I came to the Robin Williams Tunnel, and the sun was sparkling off the bay, and the light was shining on San Francisco, the city that we all love. I love it. I went to a meeting at the Officers Club in Presidio. It was a gorgeous day. There were over 100 people. They were like-minded. It was Thursday morning. There were investment managers like myself. There were philanthropists. There were not-for-profits. Josh Becker was there. Over 100 people. And we spent the day talking about affordable housing, immigration, LGBT rights, equal rights, trans rights. We didn't talk about the election at all. We talked about solutions. We got busy. Action absorbs anxiety. Want to say it with me?
Yes.
Action absorbs anxiety. Remember that over the next 8 weeks. Action absorbs anxiety. One of my favorite speakers of that day was Kat Taylor, who's married to Tom Steyer. You might remember ran for president in 2020. And she spoke about their commitment, the Tomcat Ranch, about sustainable farming, Tomcat Center for Sustainable Energy at Stanford, Tomcat Foundation. They did all tons of good work. You can look them up. She and her husband in 2010 made a pledge to give away most of their wealth during their lifetime. And many are doing kind of the same. So now they ask. We need you, we need your time, and we need your money. There are QR codes on the walls around the room. You can go up and chat with Lisa or chat with me. You can give money, you can donate stock. There are multiple ways to give, but we need you. And we need you to be ambassadors in our community and in the world. So today I'd like to announce we're going to do a $5,000 challenge grant to this room. So for the first $5,000 that comes into Wake Up Sonoma, Warren and I will match it dollar for dollar. I want to close with one of my favorite quotes. In matters of style, you swim with the current. In matters of principle, you stand like a rock. Thomas Jefferson. I think it's time for all of us in this room to stand like a rock. And let's say it one more time. Action absorbs anxiety. Thank you.
Thank you. And in true town hall style, we would like to take your questions for the panelists, because I'm sure there are many. Who would like to go first? Wow. I know, it's a lot. At least for me.
Hi, my question's for Supervisor-elect Hermosillo, and thank you so much. I'm delighted that you're joining our Board of Supervisors. I know back in the first administration, the County of Sonoma helped to stand up the Secure Families Collaborative, which we've heard a lot about today, and helping to provide resources to get that collaborative started for more immigration defense legal counsel to exist in Sonoma County. And the Board of Supervisors in the county used our tax dollars to help establish that and fuel it. And then there was a lot of philanthropy that followed to keep it going. And of course that has ebbed and flowed over time. Do you know if the County Board of Supervisors or the county is planning on investing dollars again to help support the Secure Families Fund? And if there's anything we can do as residents of Sonoma County to help put support and pressure on the Board of Supervisors to do that if you think that that's warranted?
Yes, that's part of the conversation that I had with County Council this week, is to ask them to reinvest and make sure that it has the resources we need. So I think that what would be helpful is, I don't take office till January 7th, it would be helpful to reach out to your supervisor, whoever it is, depending on where you live, and make sure that you share your voice, that you want them to fully support the initiative and expand. I think that it's going to be important to ensure that we are providing resources for constituents, because there's not going to be enough legal defense to go around for everyone. And so making sure that it's a twofold ask. financially support and expand the types of services provided.
Check.
This may be the elephant in the room, but where is the wine industry? You start deporting millions of immigrants, who's going to pick the grapes? And if there's no grapes, no wine, who's going to visit this area? So my other question is, where is the tourist industry? Just where are they?
Hi, I don't have the answer to that question, but I am working on getting it. We have Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance is a member of the Sonoma Valley Collaborative, and so is the Chamber, and so is the Visitors Bureau. So I have so far just heard like little snippets from individuals from those worlds, and I think it'd be great to ask them in public ways. I'm going to be asking them in private ways because that's the lane I have. But you're right, hospitality, visitor services, agricultural processing, everything that goes on 8th Street East.
Hospitality.
Yeah, hospitality, hotels, restaurants, those industries live and die by not just people who themselves are immigrants or maybe undocumented, but their families. Many families who live in Sonoma Valley and work in Sonoma Valley are of mixed status. And so even citizens are very much vulnerable to having their whole lives turned upside down. So I can't tell who asked that question, so I can't look at them, but I think that's a question we should be asking publicly and privately of those folks. I will get back to you with what I found out.
Yep. I could say that individually, wineries and the ag community has contacted Congressman Thompson's office to see how they can help. They, in the last administration, proactively had them fill out pre-ICE AA forms, the AA forms for us to be able to advocate if they got detained by ICE. So behind the scenes, they have been working on it, and so I will make sure that we're doing it proactively now.
Next question over here.
Well, I can partially answer for the hospitality industry because the Fairmont just unionized. The number one item that they negotiated was protecting their immigrant workforce. I wasn't in that particular part of the negotiation, so I don't know exactly what was agreed, but both sides took that as the first thing to work on. So, anyway, yay union, that's what's going to protect a lot of our local work.
I'm going to go in the back over here quickly.
I wonder if someone can answer this question that I never have understood, and the campaign is so confusing about this, and I don't feel like our side of the campaign actually answered it. Can ICE go after people that actually have started the process? Because I know the process can take sometimes 10 years for somebody to become legally here, right? But do they have permission to be here if they've already started through the process? Because it sounds like, I have a big fear that the Trump administration is going to go after people and call them illegal if they actually are going through the steps that we set forth for that in our country. Thank you.
So it's a complicated question that doesn't have an easy answer, but yes, anybody who does not have permanent resident status or even people with permanent resident status, our immigrants are at risk at all levels. And what we anticipate seeing is that people who are currently in the process, evidentiary standards for their applications may increase and may be more difficult to obtain status and to get a favorable grant. Also, there's a component of discretion allowed in granting somebody certain immigration statuses, and that discretion will be much more difficult to be favorably applied to applications. And then the other change that we can see is applications that are denied will be, the applicant's information will be referred to ICE, and ICE could issue an NTA and use that information to remove people that they know are not here. So people are at risk, yes.
So they don't necessarily have the right, a protected right to be here if their application has not gone through the process yet, but it's in the midst of the process. They don't have that right guaranteed.
It offers some level. It depends on different circumstances. People who have, but no, if somebody doesn't have an approved application and doesn't have status, they're at risk.
We're going to go over here. You're probably safe there. I don't think this is not. But ICE action doesn't always happen in raids, right? Sometimes they're waiting for you at your house. So one other thing that we can talk about is how we provide safe spaces for people to go. And that's something that can happen on a sort of informal network, and then it can also happen in formal spaces. So can you share a little bit with everybody in this room about how we can maybe get that started?
Sure. So that's a really good point. We have ICE actions that happen in our community currently. Not as often, but it does happen. And I think people, after a certain amount of time, you learn to kind of recognize the signs of maybe what an ICE officer looks like sitting in their car waiting for somebody. And people who feel they can't go home do need a safe place to wait it out or to avoid ICE if they can. Kind of skating the line. I can't advise anybody to break the law, but we can support our neighbors. We can make connections with people. People need citizens to stand up for them and to be trained and to know what a legal valid warrant looks like, and to be able to send ICE away when they don't comply with the legal requirements. And so making connections with community members, offering your support, letting people know that you're available to them, their house is available to them if they need, is really important.
Thank you. Next question. Right behind you here.
Hello, my name's Mary McDevitt, and I'm the secretary of the Sonoma Valley Democratic Club, and our president, Beth Hadley, is over there. My question really follows up on what Vicki was just talking about. So question number one is, can you accept and use non-legal volunteers? It sounds like you could use somebody to put this process together for identifying houses. And also, I was wondering if you had any education or one-page do's and don'ts for anybody that would respond to your need to go out and supervise or video a nice process.
Yeah, actually, Claudia can probably answer this better than I. I can't remember number one.
Well, let's see, Mary, if I answer your question, because I was thinking, oh, this is not for me. We train people, and that's part of these trainings that you'll be hearing about. There's one this Saturday in Santa Rosa, but I think it's for a specific group of people, because we're very careful. We don't make it overly public in some ways. Who's coming to these trainings? Who's going to be out observing? So we have legal observer trainings, and if you sign up that you're interested in more information about that, not necessarily even to volunteer, but information, if you sign up on the sheet that I have here, and I have 3 of these, I can get information to you. But yes, there's training, and there's handouts on what to do, and in a form of a group. And we're looking for groups that will participate in that and encourage their membership to do that. So today's kind of informative, and what can we do together? Does that answer your question?
Any other questions? Yes.
Real quick before that next question comes, raise your hand if you have gone through the training before. So if you're interested in talking, would you stand? If you're interested in talking with people who have done it, to see what the experience is like, what's expected of you, do
So my suggestion, just a thought, is when we break up into the roaming,
Yeah.
maybe this group,
Yeah.
great question,
Okay.
could be in one area. And anybody that would like to discuss that with them, maybe if they're over in that.
Great idea. Rebecca has a really important point to add.
On the ice, being in community and hanging out, waiting for someone to get home, it is very deceiving. Ice jackets say police behind, like in the back, so it's deceiving. People could think it's the local police or the sheriff. It is not. It is ICE. And Congressman Thompson has advocated to have them remove that, and we haven't gotten any traction. So just know it says police on the back of their jackets.
We're gonna go right here for the next question.
So I have a pretty loud voice, so I may not even need the microphone, but I'll try. I wanted to just kind of piggyback on what somebody was saying about offering a safe house. My neighbor is trans, and I approached them and said, how are you feeling? How's everything going? How's, what you're feeling today? And invited the person on a walk, and I said to the person, I said, my house is safe. I have a safe house. So if you ever need anything, you just come to my house. And then just wanted to also say that somebody on our walk also talked with the person, and they knew their family, and the person said, you're safe at my house. So I want to say that includes people that are facing immigration issues, people that are trans, people that are in the LGBTQ community, and knowing that your house is a safe place for them is a huge thing to offer. So I just wanted to put that out there to everybody and invite people to talk with your neighbors, talk with the people in your community, and let them know that you are a safe place to land. I also wanted to just point out that the school district, I don't see anybody here from the school district. The school district is the largest employer in our community. And I will also say that I would invite anybody to go to a school board meeting, because we also have people that are at the school board on the board that may be trying to implement Project 2025 agendas. So I want to be clear that all of us can do our part and not let anything slip through the cracks. And then I'll thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That had to be our last question, because we have half an hour left. And the next thing that we're going to do is actually, as Gary says, I guess that's what Rick said, action absorbs anxiety. So we're going to go into action now. Around the room, you will see the posters that we have for you. What we're going to ask you to do is break up into, an action group, roaming the room. If you have an unanswered question, go ahead and put it here. On this wall here is the Wake Up Sonoma sign-ups. One of the first things that I think that we need in our community is to join the national movement for the Women's March that's going to happen on nationally January 18th. So, there's a sign-up sheet here. Wake Up Sonoma can't organize that without greater support. So if you're somebody who has a passion for that, please sign up. We need an action team and we need a leader. You can do it under the Wake Up Sonoma umbrella, but we need help with that. January 18th. We also have, as Caitlin mentioned, there's those 4 main areas. If you have any questions about what is the risk locally in those 4 main areas, those are the posters back there. If you can make any comments about what your biggest concern is, suggestions, resources, whatever you have, put them on those posters. We'll be sharing it with the collaborative. Back to the Wake Up Sonoma needs. We also need board members. So Wake Up Sonoma is in a place right now where we are poised for greater action. We need to move into this next year, whatever our future is, If you're interested in helping to guide where Wake Up Sonoma goes in the future, we need at least 3 board members to hop on the train and help us figure out what we're going to be doing in the future. You can also go to our website. We have community action team sign-ups there, for a diversity network, a business liaison team, which is part of it. We'll be working with Tyler on that he talked about. And then we also need a team of people that are going to help keep the community up to date with all of the things that are going on nationally. Wake Up Sonoma does this information gathering and sharing. We need people that have an expertise there and a strength there to be on that team. So we're also going to invite the speakers to roam the room as well. You can approach them, talk with them. And if you feel like you have an expertise in any of these areas that are on the walls, stand next to that poster and be willing to, answer questions. We're going to give you 15 minutes for that. Michelle, do you have anything to add?
Dig deep and find the leader within yourself. What spoke to you today? Back
To Curran's question at the beginning, what's on your soul right now? What's on your mind? What's on your heart? It's a lot, and do your best to dig deep and find the leader within you, and then don't forget the QR code for the generous donation that Rick and his husband are making. Have fun with it too, meet somebody new. In 15 minutes is what Lisa's telling me. Questions, and I have one. How are you feeling now compared to when you walked in an hour and a half, 2 hours ago? Anybody care to share? More aware. More hopeful.
Less shitty.
Less shitty. Good. That is definitely that was part of the goal today. Sir?
Informed and questioning. What about the 95 that need to be educated in what you're talking about here? See, the problem is that the larger world, there's those that are suffering directly because they're victims. There's those that are helping them, but there's 95% that is completely outside of that discussion, and therefore outside of this discussion. There needs to be another brand of re-educating the public in all of the communities in the valley. Well, we have to do that one community at a time.
Right.
The boys, Glen Ellen, Springs, and
right.
They have to know each other. And
well,
then you have to educate them.
You got to start somewhere. This is a start, and we do have conversations about doing something like this in the boys area specifically, and providing Spanish-speaking service, interpretation services as well, because we need to really bring those, that Boys Hot Springs into the loop on everything.
So when we broke up, a gentleman came up to me and said, I feel really overwhelmed. I don't know exactly what to do with how overwhelmed I feel right now because I want to make a difference. I care. Obviously he does, he was here today. And yet, trying to navigate that overwhelm and chip away at it in baby steps and continuing to have the conversation, like Sheila said in the back of the room, having the conversation with your neighbors, having the conversation with your family, and putting ownership on the other people in your life that you know care. Because we can talk and talk and talk and talk, but where's the action sit? Have our walk match our talk. And that's my invitation to the people in my life.
Somebody also pointed out to me, how do we bring the younger people into the conversation? And I'm going to guess that we all have young people in our lives, And I think that we all have to be the ambassadors to the young people. Part of the mission of the board is going to be to figure out how to reach the young people. What kinds of activities do we need to do? What are they thinking about? What are they worried about? How do we speak to their concerns? So we need to, that's some work we have to do.
And they've never been through this before. I have 19 and 21-year-old daughters, and similar to Gary getting teared up about that, I get teared up about the young women in our lives. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So it's also about having those difficult, courageous conversations with everybody in whatever way you can. And oftentimes leading by example is just so much more powerful than talking. Inviting someone to come to a meeting with you, inviting someone to whatever you signed up for, ask them to join you.
That's the question I have, is anybody here interested in working with the education and the re-education of the democratic culture of Sonoma Valley, one neighborhood at a time? Because God damn it, we've lost our basis.
I do think that is something that actually we have talked about in Wake Up Sonoma, is doing neighborhood meetings and really bringing people together that are willing to have those neighborhood meetings at their houses. And so that's another direction that the board needs to, we need resources to carry those things out, but it is definitely what needs to happen.
That's my specialty in a PhD and other experiences. I ran for supervisor here in the county 25 years ago, and so I'm somewhat knowledgeable of it. But I need you to lead me to be able to work inside of what you're doing.
You sound like an excellent board member. Please sign up.
I will be a board member if you'll let me be a teacher.
So we will definitely be continuing the conversation with you. Thank you for standing up, thank you for being here, and thank you for speaking
That's
up.
what I call action.
Thank you very much. So I want, again, for you to sit with how you feel right now and what you can do in the next few hours, the next few days, the next few weeks to continue to take care of yourself and continue to take care of the people around you and continue to take action. Because back to Rick's point, Rick, yell it from the mountaintop over there.
Action absorbs anxiety.
Action absorbs anxiety. And then Gary,
Love always wins.
Love always wins. So I am very grateful that you invited me to be here with you. I will support you in any way possible. You're a force. You've made a very big impact when you started Wake Up Sonoma in dealing with the Matson issue, and it is no small feat what was accomplished in a very short period of time. Where you met with a lot of angst and a lot of hatred and a lot of negative, and you just kept moving on with the people that support you.
And I do want to give, shout out to the founding members, Veronica Napolis, who was the spark that, brought the energy together. And we had a whole group with Josette and David and Mary Sampson, Elizabeth. I mean, there's a whole group of us. And, we wouldn't be here without that group of people.
And it's a perfect example of an idea became action, took action, and it created a ripple effect, and the ripple effect is continuing. Do you want to let them know about the opportunities for those businesses to be purchased by?
No,
okay. That's no, seriously though, TBC, what she has up her sleeve with the next phase of that whole process.
So, keep abreast of our email news blast. If you're not already on our email list, sign up in the back. We send out email blasts regularly. Join our Facebook group. We have John Staley back there, who's our social media king. And he keeps the social media up to, we put out information like a fire hose. But what I wanted to say is that all of these things that we just put together, we are going to coordinate all of that. We have somebody here that volunteered to put it all together. We will put it up on our website. We'll share it out. People will be calling you if you volunteer for something. I am so, so grateful to all of you for being here. I'm going to let Curran do a final few words.
I'm going to do what I do. I love it. I want to say these amazing human beings who have taken time out of their insanely busy lives are here because they believe in you. They're here because they believe in the us, right? So I want a round of applause for their presence. Out as many as I had that I made myself and cut not in a straight line, because that will be what's on my tombstone. Just couldn't draw a straight line. Some things that we have coming up. We have a winter solstice walk in this room. It's just piano music and the opportunity to be quiet on the 19th of December and walk 12 Circuit Rainbow Labyrinth, Gary. So come and join us, watch on the First Congregational Church website for that. We're looking at doing another sound bath in this room. There were 75 people who came the Sunday before the election, and we're blessed with recalibration through sound. And Michelle and I are working together on Islands of Sanity. We decided on Wednesday afternoons at noon, we'll open this space up. We'll bring in art escape. We'll bring in some awesome yoga teachers. We'll bring in some opportunities to get grounded. So be watching for those things. Really important that you put the Women's March in your calendar. We don't know the time yet. We're going to try to time it so that you can leave from here and go to San Francisco like a lot of us did last week. So take a good deep breath. Okay, so many words, so many words. So remember those shoulders? Put them up and breathe them down. Okay, right? One more time. Okay, and here's my truest heart. I believe that it is the artists and the visionaries, the musicians, the young ones who are going to show us the way. And so I like to end gatherings with a poem. This is one of my favorite writers right now. She's called The Word Woman, Rosemary Watala Tromer. And she reminds us that deliberate burrowing can be expansive. She calls this Lumbricus terrestis. Where are you? Caitlin, that's a worm, right? There it is, it's the earthworm. On a day when the world is weighty, dark and dense with need, I want to be an earthworm that gives itself over to tunneling. It's every movement and act of bringing spaciousness. I want the world to meet me worm-like, which is to say grounded, consistent, even slow. No matter how desperate the situation, the worm does not tunnel faster, nor burrow more. It knows it can take decades to build fine soil. To whatever is compacted, the worm offers its good worm work, quietly bringing porosity to what is trodden and compressed. So often, in my rush to repair, I end up exhausted. Let my gift to the world be my constancy, a devotion to openness, my willingness to be with what is. Let my gift to myself be patience as I tend to what is dense and dark. Peace go with you as we go from this place. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Thank you for coming.